येयं प्रेते विचिकित्सा मनुष्ये अस्तीत्येकेनायमस्तीति चैके एतद्विद्यामनुशिष्टस्त्वयाहं वराणामेष वरस्तृतीयः देवैरत्रापि विचिकित्सितं पुरा न हि सुज्ञेयमणुरेष धर्मः अन्यं वरं नचिकेतो वृणीष्व मामोपरोत्सीरति मा सृजैनं दैवरत्रापि विचिकित्सितं किल त्वं च मृत्योयन्न सुज्ञेयमात्थ वक्ता चास्य त्वादृगन्यो न लभ्यो नान्यो वरस्तुल्य एतस्य कश्चित् शतायुषः पुत्रपौत्रान् वृणीष्व बहून् पशून् हस्तिहिरण्यमश्वान् भूमेर्महदायतनं वृणीष्व स्वयं च जीव शरदो यावदिच्छसि एतत्तुल्यं यदि मन्यसे वरं वृणीष्व वित्तं चिरजीविकां च महाभूमौ नचिकेतस्त्वमेधि कामानां त्वा कामभाजं करोमि ये कामा दुर्लभामर्त्यलोके सर्वान् कामान् छन्दतः प्रार्थयस्व इमा रामाः सरथाः सतूर्या न हि दृशालम्भनीया मनुष्यैः आभिर्मत्प्रक्ताभिः परिचारयस्व नचिकेतो मरणं मानुप्राक्षीः श्वोभावामर्त्यस्य यदन्तकैतत् सर्वेन्द्रियाणां जरयन्ति तेजः अपि सर्वं जीवितमल्पमेव तवैव वाहास्तव नृत्यगीते न वित्तेन तर्पणीयो मनुष्यो लप्स्यामहे वित्तमद्राक्ष्मचेत्त्वा जीविष्यामो यावदीशिष्यसि त्वं वरस्तु मे वरणीयः स एव अजीर्यताममृतानामुपेत्य जीर्यन्मर्त्यः क्व तदास्थः प्रजानन् अभिध्यायन् वर्णरतिप्रमोदान् अतिदीर्घे जीविते को रमेत यस्मिन्निदं विचिकित्सन्ति मृत्यो यत्साम्पराये महति ब्रूहि नस्तत योऽयं वरो गूढमनुप्रविष्टो नान्यं तस्मान्नचिकेता वृणीते।
हरि ओम। So the 26th mantra. At the peak of disgust, Nachiketa cries out, Tavaiva vahastava nritya gite. Keep thy chariots, dance, and the music. Ephemeral, these, they tend to decay the vigor of all the senses in a man. As we learned, when you lead an indulgent life, indulgent means a life not backed by your own intellect. And when we say backed, an action or a life not backed by intellect leads to a contact which is indiscriminate, impulsive. When you maintain or when you establish an indiscriminate contact with the world, that is when the senses, which are the instrument of experience, they lose their vigor. And that's when the law of diminishing value and the law of neutralization sets in. And that's what he means, that they tend to decay. They refers to the senses. Now, all beings have three faculties. The first faculty is to perform karma. Karma is where you perform conscious actions. The second faculty is you become the karta, or rather, karta can be taken from a relative and absolute point of view. Karta, from a relative point of view, is the doer, where you have the doership attitude. Absolute level karta is the Atman, that which is enabling the actions to perform. The third is the bhokta, the enjoyer. So all beings have these three. One is karma, which is to perform conscious actions. Second is the karta, which is the doer. We'll take it from an absolute point of view, which is the Atman, the self. The third is the bhokta, the enjoyer. So karma, action, karta, the doer, bhokta, the enjoyer. Straightforward. Now, when there is bhokta, the sense of enjoyment more pronounced in any individual, they become an animal. If you look at a life of an animal, what is the life of an animal? All it does is eat, produce, nothing else. It has no other purpose. It has no greater purpose. In that sense, you can say an animal cannot perform conscious actions, but it is performing actions. So if one does not, or if rather one falls a prey to bhokta is when you start worshipping the senses, you become, it triggers the lower instincts in a human. But when you downplay the bhokta, when you don't give that importance to the senses and revel in the senses, that is when you nourish the karma and the karta. That is when you become the devas. Devas means you become the gods. So as a human, we have a choice either to shift your attention to, or put your attention to the karta, who is the doer, or get involved in the bhokta, which is the enjoyment of your senses or the worldly achievements. We have the choice. So the Nachiketa here is very clear. No, a man of conviction like Nachiketa, in fact, no one who has that intellectual conviction will run after Shvobhavaha. The term he starts in the mantra starts with this. Shvobhavaha martayasya yadanta kaitat. Shvobhavaha means eternal, ephemeral objects. So no one with an intelligent conviction will run after these ephemeral objects. But the problem of ephemeral objects is they are very tantalizing now. They appear to be very glorious. They appear to be attractive. So you don't fall a prey to the senses. So this mantra exhibits the profound viveka and vairagya of Nachiketa. Now, what could be the joy of Lord Yama? Lord Yama must be reveling in that joy, looking at the outrageous explosion of Nachiketa. Look at that conviction with which Nachiketa replies back. When he offers to you, he says, keep them with you. Don't play tricks or pranks with me. I'm not interested in that. So that kind of tantamounting to arrogance, but it's not arrogance, it's just sheer conviction. Tavaiva vahastava nitya gite. So the longest life, jivitam alpam. Even the longest life is indeed short. So let thine alone be, keep them with you. So the strong words of Nachiketa in 26. Okay? 27, please.
ते न वित्तेन तर्पणीयो मनुष्यो लप्स्यामहे वित्तमद्राक्ष्मचेत्त्वा जीविष्यामो यावदीशिष्यसि त्वं वरस्तु मे वरणीयः स एव.
Na vittena tarpaniya manushyaha. In one lane, he has spoken the entire truth. No man is not satisfied with wealth. Vittena, wealth. Tarpaniya, satisfied. Na tarpaniya, not satisfied. Now that I have seen thee, I shall get wealth. Look at this fellow. Too shrewd. I say Nachiketa is too smart, too shrewd, this fellow. As long as you rule, I shall also live, because you are the Lord of death, and I'm with you. You will not take away my life. So I have longevity of life. I will get wealth. Thus, that boon alone is desired by me. So in the previous mantra, he talked about the limitations of bhoga, which is, as I said, they diminish the vigor of senses. So in the previous mantra talks about bhoga or enjoyment. In this mantra is talking about the limitations of all form of artha. Artha is wealth, material, anything material. So as we understand, only one who knows the limitations of artha, wealth, and kamaha will be able to get into the other two aspects of dharma and moksha. So what are the four aspects that we're talking about here? What are they, Ramji?
Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha.
What are they?
Dharma is um, duty, or I mean, multiple meanings are there, but I think here it means duty. Artha is money. Kama is desire. Moksha is moksha. So that is.
But what are these four called?
What are these four? These four, I think, are the. I don't know the Sanskrit name. We have always been told that these four are the pursuits of man.
Hmm.
Is it
But
correct?
yes, sir. No, I would like to hear. Hariji, what do they call?
They are Purushartha.
What is that? Speak in a language everybody understands. What is Purushartha?
Purushartha is that which you are supposed to, which you can do. Dharma, that all that it will not go against the common laws and rules. That is dharmic. Artha is dhana, wealth. Kama is desire. And moksha is going beyond the death and birth.
Right. But what is the word Purushartha mean? Purushartha means they are
It is the free will. Yeah.
Means a human can strive to put effort in all these four avenues.
Yeah.
Your life, you can have the ability to put effort.
Yeah.
You have the choice to put effort to either merely pursue your kamaha, which is desire, and acquire the wealth of the world, or lead a life of dharma, which is to uphold the
align
purpose
the
of life.
universal law.
The universal, yeah. What is the universal law? What is the universal law? The universal law is the law of your own conscience.
Yeah.
The internal law is the universal law. Because once you're aligned to your conscience, when you live a life of satyam, which is a dharmic life, that is when such actions would lead you to moksha, which is enlightenment.
Yeah.
Yes, Harijit, thank you. So what we are saying is one who does not fall a prey to kama and artha, means you understand the limitations of these two. That is when you can pursue dharma and lead yourself to moksha. So Nachiketa in this mantra, he is not, look at the words he says, now that I have seen thee, I shall get wealth. Lapsyamahe vittam. Adraksham means since I have seen, lapsyamahe, I will get wealth. So he is not rejecting wealth. He is not denouncing wealth. He is not saying, I don't need wealth. He's only saying, I am not interested in it. But the fact that I have sought audience with you, I'll get wealth. What does it mean? You should not keep the wealth as the object of your pursuit. Wealth is essential. It is a tool. It helps you to meet your ends. Wealth is only a commodity which can be exchanged with sense objects. You know that. There's no point me having stacks of cash and do what with it? I can exchange it with taste for my tongue, touch for my skin, etc. So wealth is a gross commodity which can only be exchanged with gross objects. With wealth, I can't exchange for respect. What happened in there's so much we're floating, so much rumors, or in the recent elections, there were some politicians who went out of the way giving wealth to people to gain a following or respect, or to make them win. They couldn't get it. They lost it all. So you can't gain respect. You find everybody who aspiring for power, it is short-lived. You may there 1 term, 2 term, 3 term, 4 term, 5 term. After that, they're gone. Again, there is a cycle. So nothing is permanent. You can't hold on to power as long as you want. So there is a limitation with wealth, what you can do. You can't gain power, you can't gain respect. Can I ask some respect from you all? And if I were to throw whatever I can throw at you all to say, please give me some respect, I can't earn respect through power. Can I gain some love and appreciation or a feeling of concern towards me with wealth? No. Can I acquire knowledge through wealth? No. So wealth can only be transacted with gross transactions. There is a line beyond which wealth will not serve its purpose. So to understand its limitations, which Nachiketa understands, but he also understands I need wealth to carry on. Therefore, he says, since I have an audience with you, I will get wealth. And also, I will have a long life. So it is unwise for me. It is unwise for me to spend the third boon on something which is assured without asking. I'm assured of wealth. I'm assured of long life. The fact that I have an audience with you. So why should I spend the third boon in getting something which I'm getting without asking? So the assurance, what is the hidden message here is the assurance of Nachiketa. You know, I have experienced that assurance. I've never ever felt insecure. And that sense of assurance, not because of a certain external security, even in the most demanding phases of your life, the most challenging phases of your life, I was so assured. And where does that assurance come from? SR.
Pranam Guruji. The assurance comes from the value system, what we have cultivated with ourselves, and the self-confidence, I can say more, the word which we think. So you don't get prey or feel secure with the uncertainties which are falling across.
Indeed, but
strongly believing in our value system, and to say what self we think is right and what we follow, so will take you a right direction. So not to get concerned and worried about the momentary challenges, or thinking too much about the future.
no, I'm saying when there is no material security of the world, what is the natural phenomenon. Let's say you don't have a secure job, or you don't have you're not protected yourself
factor.
or your family. There's insecurity, isn't it?
Insecurity, yes.
So the lack of wealth creates insecurity, right?
Because we think wealth is the ultimate factor for livelihood.
So wealth may be instrumental or requirement for your livelihood, but does material wealth give you the mental security?
No.
So, but the world believes that any amount, or they believe that the more the wealth I have, the more secure one is. Isn't it?
That's true, Guruji. I think most of the cases it's been proven. The most wealthiest people have the most insecurity.
But we don't have to reach that level to understand, no?
Yeah, we don't require.
I don't have to become a multi-billionaire to understand that I am insecure. I can understand it now also.
Like last class I remember you mentioning, of course I didn't attend it, but I heard the class. Like you can get that by maturity or by experience. So understanding that.
Yeah,
so
understanding.
That's where your maturity lies. Rather than we go through that experience and realize.
True. So to understand that there is no security in wealth, to have wealth as a necessity is no problem, but to fall a prey for it is worst.
Yes.
So the assurance that there is no security in wealth, that assurance is wisdom. So the quantum of possession of wealth doesn't determine how secure you are. Just because you have a little more doesn't mean you're more secure. Doesn't mean I have little less, I'm less secure or more insecure. There is no, what do you call this, cause and effect here. Now I want to ask, what is the law which substantiates it? Haresh, I hope you got the point. Your mental security is not measured with the quantum of wealth, which is possession or dispossession. So your mental security, which we are calling as assurance, is a product of wisdom. So if I were to put mental assurance in the center, are we able to get over that whiteboard, Ma? Let me give it a try. I don't know.
Actually, Guruji, there is a whiteboard in your screen itself. There itself you can try to use it.
Where?
On your Zoom, on your, but I think your desktop it is.
I can't use a desktop to write. I need a tab, right? Okay, let me give it a try whether I could use it. But if that appears, then I don't think I can use. I can write. Can I?
Yes, you can. Yeah, we are able to see.
Okay, let me write and see it. So on one side is the mental security. So in the center is a mental security. Other side is the wealth. On other side is the wisdom. So Harish, what we are trying to make a point here is that wealth cannot give you any amount of mental security or peace of mind. The mental security or peace of mind is a product of wisdom. What is that concept that convinces us about this? So the word mental security we are calling here is the essence of assurance. Yes, Harish.
Oh, sorry, Guruji, I did not understand the question. Can you kindly repeat the question, Guruji?
The question is, what is the law or the logical understanding that can establish what we are presenting here? Like wealth cannot, only wisdom can.
Oh, wealth. Okay, so wealth cannot give us mental security.
Mhm. Only wisdom can give you the mental security.
Mental security, yes. I think, from what I understand, Guruji, that with wisdom gives us the knowledge gives us the wisdom to apply towards our life, to know that. I don't know if I'm going off track here, but it gives us the wisdom gives us the understanding that we get to a point where we know that everything is an illusion, and we know that we
Off track.
okay, sorry.
No, don't have to be sorry. I'm
Yeah.
only trying to bring you back
Yes,
on track.
yes,
I'm
yes.
asking what is that? I don't need explanation. I know you understand it. I know you'll understand. But if somebody were to, it's not meant to convince others, but to be convinced ourselves. What is that logical point that actually establishes this concept?
Well, wealth is impermanent. It comes and goes. But once we have the wisdom, it's imbibed within us throughout. So we know how to navigate our life to
Yeah.
have the. Sorry, Guruji.
No, not at all. But why? What I was trying to say is you're again out of context.
Okay.
See, the Setuji actually sent me directly the message, but that's the right answer. The point is, can anybody say it? UK, you know what it is? Ramji, yes. First, UK.
Actually, the wisdom itself will tell you, no, Guruji, the impermanence of the wealth and the permanence of the wisdom.
Yeah, indeed. But you need to have the wisdom to understand that. The point that we are asking is what is that which establishes the concept of protecting your mental security?
I mean, I'm not able to get the essence of the question, Guruji. Exactly what you are expecting.
Okay, no issue. Ramji?
Whatever I wanted to say, I think Gayatri has already said. The wealth is gross, so it cannot buy something subtle. Wisdom is subtle, it can buy the other subtle.
Huh?
Wisdom is subtle, so it can get you the mental security, which is also a subtle thing. It is not gross.
No.
Hmm.
What is the law? Anything gross cannot give you subtle, right?
Correct.
Wealth cannot give you mental security, right?
Correct. That is clear.
But wisdom can give you mental security because mental security is grosser than wisdom.
Is grosser than wisdom. Yeah.
So subtle can control the gross. Subtle can give you the gross. Gross can't give you subtle.
Okay.
So in terms of hierarchy, wealth is gross, mental security is subtle, the wisdom is aspect of your intellect or your spiritual quotient, which is subtlest. So subtle controls the gross.
Yeah.
Gross cannot influence subtle. So when you said that wisdom can control something mental or influence, it's subtle. I said no. Mental is grosser than wisdom. Therefore, it can influence. So the point, Harish, we are trying to say is, Ushama, the point we are trying to say is, gross cannot give you anything subtle. Only subtle gives you the grosser, subtle controls the gross, subtle influences the gross. Gross perhaps gives you a notion of control. It only is contributory. It is not complete control. For example, wealth seems to give you a perception that the more wealth you have, the more peaceful you would be, the more assured you would be, the more secure you would be. But it's not true. No, it's okay to discuss in classrooms like this, but to let your life be defined by it. Let your life be governed by these wisdom. Let your life be defined, your actions be defined by them, is yet another story, is yet another thing. If I were to tell you, you don't have a job, you don't have an assured sense of livelihood, and yet say, go out and live, go out and teach this wisdom, go out and propagate this, go out and live a life to pursue and serve this wisdom, you need to have some conviction. It's not easy. Having tread the path, I'm telling you. But it was never a doubt as far as I was concerned. It's just such a certain assurance that I never felt more clear than what the mantra is saying. And I think Soumyama earlier said that, on the contrary, as we constantly keep quoting, that wealth is a calamity. Instead of believing that wealth can give you assurance, wealth can only cause more insecurity. Now, if you say that, is not again violating the law there? If wealth cannot give you security, how can wealth give you insecurity? Again, wealth also is gross. How can it give you insecurity? Is there not a flaw there? You need to, I can make a statement, move on, but only when you pause and examine, you know, there could be a fallacy, but there's no fallacy. Arnama, you understand what I'm saying? We can very easily say that wealth does not give you security. But when we say artham anartham, wealth is calamitous. So wealth causes you insecurity. The more wealth you have, the more insecure you are. Is it not going against the law there?
Hari Om, Guruji.
Yes, Mario.
I think a person who has wealth also has the fear that he will lose it. So that produces the insecurity. Can you?
But what has caused the insecurity? Has wealth created the insecurity? Then if you say wealth creates the insecurity, then you are saying that the gross has influenced the subtle. Again, you're violating the law there, aren't we?
I think a person, when insecurity is something that comes when you don't live the higher principles. When you have wisdom, the insecurity does not come there.
Indeed, but that doesn't answer the question that how can wealth cause insecurity? How can you justify that the wealth is not causing insecurity? I know we all will understand that wealth doesn't give me security. Yes, sir, I understand. But then if you say wealth causes me fear of fear which is insecurity, how is it possible? Gross cannot influence the subtle. So how do you say that? Because I'm blowing hot and cold if I say that.
You can't get it, Guruji.
Yeah, no, we need to pause and examine and bring a little more clarity to the concepts. That's about all. No issue. Yeah, Setuji. Thank you, ma.
Hari Om Guruji.
Hari Om, sir.
Sorry, I'm unable to put video on because of signals.
No issues, please.
One is feels insecure because he is unable to relate to wealth. He should know he is only a trustee, and wealth is given. Wealth is boon if you know how to handle it. And see, according to in Bhagavad Gita, they say, as you create wealth, the surplus wealth, you are supposed to give it for good causes and not accumulate. And Guruji, one more that recent incident I want to relate, where this Porsche, that luxury car, a minor who collided and all that, it came in the press that his parents or his grandparents finalized a package with a top minister in the cabinet for a 19 crore amount to release them. And he was involved. That is how down the line the instructions were given. But with all that money, they could not solve it. They got it. It became a very big issue. That money couldn't solve the issue. They are still, all of them are in jail. So, and indiscriminate wealth availability made that boy get into all sorts of habits, and he was given a luxury car for his birthday and all that. So the reason, it's a classic example where with all their contacts, money and all, they could not stop him from getting into, because it became a political event. And even literally that, if I am not wrong, in the recent election, that minister who was concerned, he didn't get any seats at all. Literally one seat only they got. Otherwise, so this has proven that wealth has limitations, lot of limitations.
Either we learn that through wisdom or we'll have to learn it through experience. So you can go to one extreme to a point of you blowing it out of proportion as if it is the object of your life and keep amassing to a point of fault where you live a life of a Ravana. Or you can come to other extreme and say, I would not want it. I would not work for it. I would not seek it. Let it come. That is what Nachiketa is saying here as well. Yes, Setuji?
We are only trustees when it comes. Yeah.
True. Whatever wealth that comes your way, you should not develop an attachment to it. That's the answer, Setuji. Thank you. Yeah. One is only entrusted when we have that attitude of no possessiveness, so what actually causes insecurity is not the wealth, but your attachment to wealth. Yes, Ramji?
Sir, if you allow me, I will read one Telugu poem in this context.
You also translate for some of us.
I will. So it goes like this. తల్లి గర్భము నుండి ధనము తేడబడు, వెళ్ళిపోయేడి నాడు వెంటరాదు, లక్షాధికారైన లవణమన్నమే గాని మెరుగు బంగారంబు మింగబోడు. So far it says that nobody brings money from when he is born, and he doesn't take it when he goes. Even Lakshadhikari, this was written 100 years back, so that time Laksha was a very big amount. So now we can say even a Karodpati, he has to only eat salt and rice, and he cannot eat gold. Merugu bangarambu mengabodu, he cannot swallow the best gold. విత్తమార్జన చేసి విర్రవీగుట గాని కూడబెట్టిన సొమ్ము గుడవబోడు. When you earn money, you become arrogant. Virraviguta means arrogance. You become arrogant, but you won't be able to enjoy that money. పొందుగా మరుగైన భూమి లోపల పెట్టి దాన ధర్మము లేక దాచి దాచి. You will bury it in the soil and don't share it with anybody. You don't do dana or dharma. Tudaku dongalkittro doralu kavunam. Finally, it will be taken by some thieves or some doralu. Doralu means the people who rule over you. It could be the kings or the government. Tena juntiga tiliva tiruvarulaku bhushana vikasa sridharmapura nivasa dushta samhara narsimha durtidora. These are actually a shatakam, means 100 poems they write, a shatak as it is called. And this is written in honor of Sridharmapura Nivasa Narsimha. This is in, I think, Nizamabad district or Karimnagar district. The temple is there. So it is written in that honor. But this is a very old one, but very frequently quoted, that Lakshadhikarena Lavanamanname Gani Merugu Bangarambu Mengapodu. That means even if you are the richest man, you will still eat salt and rice. You won't be able to swallow gold. That is the point. So when we talk of insecurity with money, this is an act of insecurity or high attachment which leads to insecurity, that you bury it under the soil and then you try to protect it. I think the point is also that what for you will use that wealth. I think if that wealth is used for the right purposes, you use it for sharing and use it for good purposes, then maybe it won't cause that level of insecurity. I don't know. I'm just postulating that.
No, that's the right postulation or conclusion, because as long as wealth acquired and hoarded, when you acquire and hoard, you develop an attachment, you become selfish, and that becomes the breeding ground of your sorrow and suffering, which is mental insecurity. So the only way not to develop that possessive attitude or develop attachment to it is to understand that I have acquired wealth because of so many factors that have gone in my way. It's just not, I am only an instrument or a part in that. So to cognize all those people or those factors which have played a part and be grateful means you give it back to the society in some form or the other.
Yeah.
So in that spirit of giving, what you renounce or let go is your possessiveness, that I and my to the wealth gets liquidated. So instantly that insecurity goes. So what gives you, what causes security is your attachment. What gives you security is your spirit of giving.
Exactly.
So that is the right logical conclusion. So therefore we say there is no taker in this world who is secure. And there's no giver in life who is insecure. This is the law of life. Either you understand it or you have faith in it. So either you accept it on tradition or you accept it on logic. It will support all class of people. Means if you blindly give without thinking, you find though there are people who constantly keep smiling. If you are a giver, you know, we used to have a servant, a cook in the ashram where I studied. His name was Keshav. And Maharashtrian, Keshav. And he had such a big heart. And he's just a cook, main cook in the kitchen. Anybody goes, whenever he gives a serving, he will serve so much, 2-3 scoops, everything. Vegetable, he'll give 2 scoops. Rice, he'll give 3 scoops. Dal, he'll give 3 scoops. You have to say, Keshav, please, not so much, enough. And I remember seeing him all the time. He used to laugh. All the time he used to be smiling. I know people when I had, I can't mention names. I can't tell. You are invited to their house. You have to think twice because that lady will bring in such a small bowl. Curry is only such a small bowl. 3 people are invited. 4 people are invited. Now that's a vegetable she has made. And she'll serve you as you serve pickle. No, pickle is only a side dish. It will come little bit. So you just as an accompaniment. You just take once in a while and touch it. But the main vegetable you eat, no, it only comes in small bowls. Small portions she'll give. I said, man, you're invited for a meal, and that's what that person does. The host does to you. And I know they are all the time insecure now. They're all the time worried. Nobody is there. Nobody even minds to go into their house. I passed that house so many times, I don't have a heart to go into that house. Because they are not givers. They are not givers. I'm quoting a relative. I'm quoting a servant. It has nothing to do with who is dear to me or who is not dear to me. One who has that principle of giving all the time, you smile. So a giver is never unhappy, never insecure. He's very secure. A taker, you may have all that you may acquire and amass, but I can guarantee you, you cannot have security or peace of mind. So wealth alone cannot and will not be a free passport to happiness. Remember that. It cannot give you a direct pathway to heaven. Why? As we said, it is gross, and peace of mind, security is subtle. Na tarpaniyaha. Wealth alone, as he says, no man is satisfied with wealth. See, why is no man satisfied with wealth? Because of the nature of the desire, of pursuit. When you say wealth, you're pursuing something. No, no object has any meaning if you don't pursue it. So why is it that you're not satisfied with wealth? Because it's the nature of desire. And the nature of desire or the nature of the mind in the context is twofold. Any desire is twofold. One aspect of the desire is it is unending. One aspect of desire is unending. The second aspect of desire is it's multifold. Vijayji, are you able to concentrate on what I'm saying?
Yes, Hari Om. Yes, I'm
Hari Om.
able to concentrate.
Because I'm not able to concentrate whenever I look at you.
Why is that?
Because you are swinging, no?
It's for
Aren't you
thinking.
sitting on a swing?
Yeah, I'm thinking and swinging at the same time.
But then my mind also swinging, my mind also going here
Sorry.
and there.
So sorry.
You know, one of the things that they say when you're doing contemplation or meditation or study, you must be kutastaha. You must be firmly seated.
Yeah,
Imagine swinging and meditating. I don't know whether we can swing and meditate. Maybe I need to come and sit in that swing and then see whether I can concentrate. But whenever my attention comes to you, I'm not able to concentrate. Why is Vijayji swinging?
so
So
sorry.
just a piece of advice. No, don't sorry at all. Just a piece of advice. You may want to be firmly seated. Now to the point, sir. What is the point I made? The nature of desire. Vijayji, I'm asking you, please.
Nature desire is it's never ending, and it's always multifold.
Not bad, huh? So you must send one similar swing to me.
I usually have a tendency when I'm talking on the phone or whatever, I'm usually pacing up and down because it gives me a technique to think and walk. So I don't know, I'm just built that way.
Maybe I should try. I'm sitting on a rotating chair. I also start rotating like this. Maybe I think I will start making more sense. I don't know. Right. So one is it is unending and multifold. How do you draw the difference between the two? Are you able to draw the difference? Because of these two qualities, he says, a man is never satisfied with wealth. Wealth means any pursuit. Whatever you pursue in life, you'll never be satisfied with it. The reason is because of this. He doesn't spell it out, but we are analyzing.
But I don't know what the difference is, but I know the similarity. Because since it's unending, no matter which pathway you take in your thought process, you're always entering into another alley of another thought process, another desire sprouts. So it's a vicious cycle. There's no peace. There's no sense of like you don't stop. It's continuous.
Okay. Now let me throw some light. So when we say any desire is unending, take an example of a desire to possess a watch.
Okay.
Right? Now, where does it end? You can have an ordinary watch, a digital watch. I remember my younger days, just to have the Casio watch, which would just give you the 2-digit figure, itself was a big thing. I hope you can relate to it. I don't know whether you can relate to it. Just that ordinary Casio watch, it will be constantly keep blinking. Yeah. Now it can start with that, and where can it end? There is no end. There is no end, isn't it? So you can have any watch you can want, any number of watches, still you may want one more watch, isn't it? So that there is no end to the desire to have a watch, right?
Correct.
And that applies to any desire. Now, second aspect is you have multifold desires like that.
You want a suit to go with the watch, a nice shoe to go with the suit.
And then you want a golden suit. Other day I saw in the media what amount was how many millions of dollars was spent on the Ambani's son wedding, and the pre-wedding, and you book an entire island or a town in Italy where you take a cruise liner there, and then they were seen one of the robes they wore is full of golden robe, both of them. So that is Ravana's life, So there is no end. What we're trying to say is the nature of the mind is it is unending and it is multifold, multifarious. So one should not fall a prey to this nature of the mind. Because if you fall, you will never be satisfied because you have fallen to the Ravana within you.
Well, if you're familiar with the Chandipat, there is a demon called Braktabij, and each time a drop of that demon fell on the ground, another demon popped up, and that's how Mother Kali was created, to drink up all that blood, so not a single drop touches the ground. So Braktabij is basically the seed of desire that constantly cropping up.
Indeed, indeed. Our culture and the Shastras are so rich with wisdom. You look at it any angle, it points to the essential aspects. So, sorry to interrupt you. Please continue swinging. Thank you, Vijayji. Thank you, Ji. So, when you analyze the whole, what are the factors from a layman's perspective? What are the factors that bring about happiness, SR? There are three facets, three aspects that bring about any happiness. In terms of, when you talk of happiness, we're talking about contact driven, not talking about the internal happiness. I'm analyzing the challenge you and I would have if we drive our lives for seeking happiness that way. What are the three factors? Can you say, can you think, SR? I'm just slightly switching to a different concept. It doesn't necessarily have to be to what we have discussed so far. The happiness one experiences depends on three factors. What are three factors?
I mean to say, Guruji, the one who goes through the, I mean to say, who aspires for the happiness, he has to.
Yes. Anyone who is seeking happiness in the world, externally driven happiness, there are three factors.
No, I could not able to.
It will be difficult to read my mind, but if just being with you, one is the subject, that is the individual you. The second is the object, which is the world.
Right.
The third is the relationship between the subject and object. Isn't it?
It is, how do you pursue the relation? I mean to say.
The relationship between subject and object.
And to say how you mentally frame your relationship between these two makes that.
It is not a mental frame. It's the actual relationship. In order to acquire happiness, in order to achieve happiness from a worldly sense, I'm not talking in a spiritual sense, that actual experience, right, Hariji, right, the word experience. When you to experience happiness, what are the factors required? Subject, object, relationship. Now, when you analyze the subject, here we are saying the subject is the individual, which is your mind and its desires. So what is it that you're desiring from the object? You have a certain expectation, isn't it?
Yes.
Object is, an object has certain qualities, certain characteristics, right?
Yes.
The third is the compatibility between what you desire and what the object provides, right?
Yes.
Now, can you tell me, sir, what is the chance, what is the probability of the subject and object meeting and having compatibility?
The percentages of be getting alignment to say their
alignment, compatibility between the mind and what the object is providing.
It's absolutely uncertain. No?
So the possibility of finding happiness that way is very, very bleak, isn't it?
Very bleak. But we keep striving now.
The problem is we keep trying that way. We keep running outward to find happiness. Now, what makes it challenging is the nature of subject, the nature of object.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Raghu, tell me, what is the nature of subject? What's the nature of object? So we can't hear you. No, I don't think we can hear you yet.
Yeah, is it audible, Guruji, now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, Guruji. Yeah, so the object is the gross matter. Whatever is the the gross matter we see around us is the object. And the actual subject should be the subtle matter. And the relationship between the two depends upon the identifying either with the, how well the person applies the perception. It depends upon everybody's own perception.
It depends on two factors. So the gross is, sorry, not the gross, the object is the world.
The world's
some
the
object,
material.
Something in the material world.
Yes.
The subject is the state of your mind and what you desire from the world. The relationship is the compatibility between the mind and what the object is providing.
Yes, Guruji.
So when there's a harmony between the subject and object, that creates happiness. To which I'm saying, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was also thinking the same object can be, some people like it, some people don't like it. The object is same, but their wishes are, somebody likes idli and somebody likes dosa, but the actual material in both of them is same. And I also think that probably the vasanas,
Sir, don't go out of the context. I think we are talking more than what is required. I like your example of idli dosa. Yes. Now, let's say your wife makes idli. My wife makes idli. But every time the idli is not the same. My wife is the same, the ingredients are the same, kitchen is the same, I am the person same. Now, I say, oh, the last time you made idli was nice. That's my expectation when I know idli is being provided for breakfast. My concept of what my mind desires idli is one expectation, but the object is provided is not the same. So is it going to create a compatibility between what I desire and what is provided? No. I have to quietly eat without complaining that idli is not good or bad, right or wrong. I have to eat it. If I complain, I'll have extra prasadam I'll get along with idli. So why should I have the prasadam, quietly eat and say everything is fine? Very good. And go on. So what happens? Is there happiness? No. Now the object may be right, but my mind has something else. So I'll give you're able to relate to the example? The object has not changed. Exactly the same idli what was produced or made last time is there. But my mind wants something else. Then the object can be the same. The mind changes, there is no happiness. So in order to have happiness, there has to be a perfect compatibility between what the object provides and what the subject wants. And the question I asked is, what is the nature of the subject? What is the nature of the object?
Yeah, I can say, as per my understanding, the subject is always seeking something different because object is always going to be more or less the gross matter or whatever is already provided on the table. But it depends upon the subject's relationship with the object, whether they are satisfied or not.
That is true. But in order to have that satisfaction or happiness, there must be a perfect match. The point we're analyzing here is the nature of both of them. Both are changing, both are variable, both are fluctuating. The question is, how is it ever possible to match these two ever-changing factors to create a perfect experience of happiness? You must understand the difficulty of the permutation combination of that actual possibility. Therefore, you find people are never satisfied. They're constantly trying to create that compatibility, but the compatibility never happens.
Yeah, Guruji, and one thing I would like to express just for 30 seconds. I've been not sleeping for last 3-4 days because of analyze the election results in Andhra Pradesh.
I
just
can
want
see
to
the result.
not to be too.
I could see the result. That now I know why.
Yeah, I was analyzing to the what the people need and what is provided. So I'm also in the back of my mind, I'm analyzing what exactly the people need and what is their expectations and how to satisfy those expectations. Maybe it may be false promises, but sometimes to meet the other person's expectations, the subject has to probably that permutation combination I will apply sometime down the line in the other fields as well. Probably if I get the answer.
But then that is no, it is to satisfy your interest in that subject matter. But such pursuit of trying to find happiness by going outward will only lead you in futile attempts, is the point that we are trying to establish here, because both are variable factors. So I can give another example. Let's say if I desire to buy a house, I don't have a house now, and I desire to buy a house. And if I have a certain budget that I want to live in a house of this budget, and this are my needs, my fancy, this is what my mind wants. And at this point, I say, I don't have the money, nor I have the capacity to borrow or earn it. So I say, by the time I reach in the next 10 years or 5 years, I want that. I'll be able to borrow in the next 5 years or 10 years. Now, what happens by the time I reach the next milestone where I'm able to buy a house? What has happened, Gayatri Ma?
That rate of that house also has gone up.
I didn't think that way. The rate of the house has gone up. Secondly, what might happen?
My desire may come down.
Your desire has gone higher. Why come down? 10 years ago, what I want, the standard of a house, is not the standard 10 years later. Now I have the capacity to buy, but what I want is better, more than what my capacity or the wealth provides. So there is never going to be, even if I had everything, yes, and I give it to a builder, but the end product he delivers is not up to my expectation. I did not want this color, I didn't want this style, I didn't want that. So you will, it is impossible. In fact, you will realize it is a futile attempt to find happiness by running and falling a prey to the mind. That is what he's saying. Man is never satisfied. You will never find happiness by running outward because of the nature of the mind and the possibility of trying to deal with two incompatible factors or in constant changing factors. Therefore, a wise man, a man with that wisdom and discrimination, which Nachiketa is, he is firmly justifying, and he informs the teacher that I am not interested in wealth, I am not interested in enjoyment. That boon alone is desired by me. Therefore, only give me Atma Vidya. See, look at, see, we all have the Viveka, but is it backed by Vairagya is what you and I need to cultivate. I think even though there is no the real actual conversation of the Upanishad has not started, but I think it prepares the ground. There's so much preparation which makes a student a true adhikari, and that is mentioned in the 29th mantra. So we've got a couple of more mantras. Perhaps next satsang we will clarify them, and then sooner or later we'll get on to the actual conversation of the Upanishad between the Lord of Death and Nachiketa in the second section. All right, we'll come back. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.